So if you actually sat down today to name a team, what would they be named?
I got my list of names from Mike and just took it from there.
And so that was where we started from, and we wanted it to be tied to the history in the region. My name is Mike Clair. I write for Cut 4, and I kind of came up with the idea for if we had to name every team today.
Hi, I'm Tom Forget. I am the designer, or one of the designers over here, and I designed all these logos.
This is the whole project that we put together. If you've ever been to Boston, there's basically 3 things you have to know. Go Pats, duck boats, and there's like 800 universities. Yeah. It really is filled with schools, kids in school. It's essentially an outdoor campus.
That one was tougher.
Yeah, that one we had to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Your early one was, what was it, like the B, and what do you call the graduation
mortarboard.
caps?
I knew that I was going to do something with a mortarboard for it.
Yeah.
And the first take, a B, was sort of bisecting the mortarboard and confined within it. And, I liked how it came out. But
yeah.
It didn't look sports. It didn't look like a logo for a team.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, when I showed Claire the original, he mentioned that it was sort of like a Greek B. Mm-hmm. And I think that was something that we could keep, since sort of, academic, Phi Beta Kappa, academic fraternities and stuff like that. So I looked up what the Greek beta looks like, and the lowercase b was a real nice shape. And I didn't want to throw out the mortarboard idea because it was better than a diploma for scholarship. It was a more interesting thing.
Yeah.
So I just minimized it and made the B the main shape.
And the new one I absolutely love.
Yeah. I like it a lot better too.
What is Kansas State known for? Barbecue. Food is really kind of the domain of minor leagues. Oh, jazz music. Kansas City jazz is probably the best jazz that's ever existed. Jazz has a good swing to it, and swing is a baseball term.
Swing the bat.
So we get that double meaning.
Got the Utah Jazz already. Initially, I had sort of music notes and with the bars, like in sort of like a swing formation, like a curve formation with a bat, and that was really horizontal. And when you're doing a logo like this, you have to think about how it's going to be used, and it wasn't going to look good on a cap at all. And I had tried some things where a K and a C was a music note, but also the whole thing was a music. It was overcomplicated. And then I just kind of looked at Kansas City athletics history, and before they moved to more circus lettering, I think when Charlie Finley bought the team, they had a real simple block KC, and I saw how I could tap into that and still keep the music note thing while making sure it didn't look like the Utah Jazz or the St. Louis Blues, who also have music note motif.
Miami, it's the night. It's beautiful. It's dark.
The sun goes down.
Dance club.
Creatures come out.
Music.
I like that they had like a letter form. I wanted to bring back, and especially if it's something as abstract as the Knights, the M should be. And that's one of the best things about Miami. It's a city I really love, actually. The signage is just, for a graphic designer, you just walk around and look at signs. It's awesome. So I wanted it to have that Art Deco feel. I'm also unhealthily obsessed with Miami Vice, but specifically the 2006 movie. Obsessed with it.
Here's the thing. Queens is it's considered like the food capital of the world because it is such a multicultural. It's this wonderful mix of all these different cultures and foods, and that is where it starts. So we take the Mets from New York and we make it hyper-local and make it Queens, and now they are the capitals because this is where the world unites as one, and that is probably
beautiful.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals are so national. It's all sort of red, white, and blue, and the Capitol dome. So instead, like Mike just said, we went super local. They have that amazing Unisphere sculpture, or whatever you call it, right there at Flushing.
It's from the World's Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, well, it's perfect. Why don't they use this for more things? Why isn't this like a Met sleeve patch or something?
Yeah.
And it's a globe, and it's a, if we're saying it's the capital of the world, this lends itself to that representation.
That one had the last edit. Out of all the ones, the very last edit, we were talking about it, and I was like, I really like this logo, but like, there's nothing about that actually says baseball to me. And what you did, you hadn't. There was parts of it that you weren't crazy about, so you actually thickened the I don't know, what do you call
the rings?
The rings, and added a baseball to the outer ring. And I was like, okay, great. It looks like somebody just hit a baseball out of the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is perfect. I think I've said this like 8 times. This one might be my favorite one. So this one...
I ignored your directions totally.
Yep, and I love that you did. So my directions, the 76ers have an alternate logo that I love, and it's Benjamin Franklin playing basketball. I think it's so funny. I love Founding Fathers doing stuff.
He referred to this Sixers secondary logo. I've never seen it. So I didn't have a preconceived notion. But I just thought, well, what do you know Benjamin Franklin for? So like, well... He wanted the turkey to be the national bird. I thought, he's the guy that had the key and the kite, right? That's what I remembered about him, and I said, wait, and I thought, okay, so what could that be? All right, well, a kite string could be a shape of a P, and then we're keeping a P in there, and the kite's in the center, and then you could have some fun with sort of like the lightning bolt. And, I don't know, kind of like, once I figured out what I knew Ben Franklin for, and I think a lot of people know him for that sort of worked itself out.
Yeah, and then we went back to the 80s colors, the maroon,
late 70s
and
to early 80s, the maroon and like the road,
I
the
love
pale
it so
blue on
much.
the road units. Those are really cool.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.